Welcome back to the channel. This is the Action Figure Grader, and today is my what to buy on eBay video. Pretty nice assortment here of buy it nows as well as auctions, and you guys know the drill. In the video description, there will be eBay affiliate links for all of the items covered in this video, and if you use that to either buy it now, make an offer, or place a low bid in an auction and then come back to try and win it later, it does help out the channel. And I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of you that do that. And it helps keep me motivated to find you guys deals and really nice items on eBay. And we've got a great assortment in this video. And I found a bunch of TVC that I wanted to cover first. First, Power Droid. We all know and love Power Droid at this point. He's listed a bunch of really nice items, and we're going to kind of mix it up here between some of the different... there's one or two other sellers that have some vintage collection. So first, Shea Vizsla, unpunched US card, original issue, obviously. $100 is the list price on that one. I thought this was a good deal for a US Luke Skywalker Death Star Escape, $45. All of his items seem to be case fresh. They all ship in clamshells, and I'm talking to a lot of you other subscribers out there that watch the channel that you've been very happy buying from him. So I wanted to at least show you some of the latest additions to his inventory. I thought this was a really good deal. This is the red bandana Kithaba on the US card. That's kind of a tough one to find. Usually most of the US cards are the brown bandana. So if you're looking for that first issue, $100. And this seller also has an uncirculated 9.25 Star Killer, and that one's listed for $250. I received an offer on that one for $235, so not a huge discount there. There's 16 watchers on that one. A little surprised that one hasn't sold. That's a pretty high grade. I would imagine that's pretty high on the population report for the original issue Star Killer unpunched VC 100 at $250. Ungraded, these can go for $100 to $150. So I would think that that's probably about fair market value at $250. Next up, this is another nice one this same seller has. This is the Canadian VC04 Luke Skywalker multi-language name pill, and you can see the multi-language there. And this one also has the Boba Fett error on the offer. So Boba Fett Canadian VC04. And this seller has some other items available, so check out the other inventory, but these are just the ones I wanted to show. This one's listed for $110. I received an offer for $100 on that one, and that one's got 6 watchers on it as well. Back to Power Droid, he also did list a bunch of special action figure sets that are super cheap and very, very clean. I mean, these are basically case fresh examples. So we got the Imperial set with 4-LOM, AT-AT driver, TIE Fighter palette. That's at $50. He's got the Imperial Forces set unpunched with Boss IG-88 and the Snow Trooper. That's listed for $100. We see those very regularly sell for $100 punched. And that one is a beautiful unpunched example. And then the other Imperial set with Dengar, Imperial Commander, and AT-AT driver, that's $50. So there's a bunch of really nice inventory that Power Droid has available right now. This one does have a very faint crease, so just keep that in mind. Just check out all the photos and make sure that they're in the condition that you want. But I did want to point out all of the latest inventory from Power Droid. On to the vintage items, we've got a UKG 85% vinyl Cape Jawa, yet another one at auction. This one ends Saturday afternoon at 2:28 Eastern Time, and it's a beauty. New case style. The current bid is only $17.98. And I did hear from a lot of you that you'd like to get my estimates as to where they're going to end up. So just keep in mind, I'm not the Nostradamus of little plastic dolls, but I'll give you some rough ideas as I go through these vintage items. This one I think is going to end up around $2,500. There was a UKG 85 that did sell, excuse me, it was a UKG 90 that sold about a month ago at auction, and it ended up at $2,867 if memory serves. So this is a UKG 85. I think $2,500 US is the top end number for this one. You could probably go even a little bit lower than that if you want to be conservative, but that one's a really nice example, and I think that that's kind of a top end number for that. Same seller, Also has a UKG 85% yak face. One literally just sold in an auction a couple of days ago, and it finished around $480 US plus shipping. So that gives you a price target to aim for. The current bid's at $376 US. That one also ends Saturday. And this seller also has some other items available. And when that happens, I usually only include the items that I think have a little bit more wiggle room on the bid. And he's got like a blue snags that's already really high, so I didn't include it. And, you know, if I think that the item has still got some wiggle room to go up, then I usually do include it. And more on that a little bit later on when we get to CIB's items. Here is a 12-inch Stormtrooper graded UKG 85% from the Muffin Man. I bought from the Muffin Man. I know a number of you have, and always has really nice items available. This is a really nice presentation, though, for the 12-inch Stormtrooper. And the current bid on that one's $165 or about $214. I would pay up to $350 on this one, personally. That one's nice and bright white, every bit of an 85 to me. So, really nice example. Muffin Man also has a Toll Toys Australia, New Zealand example of the mail away Forlom. I've got one of these in my collection already, graded AFA 85. This one's a UKG 80%. I put the market value sub $200. This one's come back down to earth a little bit. The last example I saw sell was a UKG 85 that sold around $250 or so. So I think it might go higher than that, but if I'm being conservative, I would probably aim for sub $200, somewhere in that ballpark. Next up, this is a beauty from Brian's Toys. This is a qualified 75 plus AT-AT. All-terrain armored transport. This is qualified again, so it's no longer sealed. It's just unused contents, and it does have the qualified scale certificate of authenticity from CIB AFA. The current bid's only $566. I would go up to about $1,500 on this one. I think it'll probably end less than that. If you're being conservative, try to aim for $1,200 to $1,300, but I think it could go as high as $1,500. Sealed examples, you could double that price pretty easily. Maybe not double, but pretty close to that. But a qualified 75 plus, that's a really nice item. And that would be my price target to aim for on that. All right, CIB AFA, they've got a number of very high-grade tri-logos that are at auction that all end Sunday evening. I'm keeping my eye personally on a number of them myself. I did include some of them where I think that there's still a lot of wiggle room to go up. And when I look at the population report for a lot of these, some of these are very, very rare in terms of the grade. So first one is a Lobot AFA 85. That one's at $202.50. I think I would go up to $500 on that. I think I paid around $440 for my AFA 80. So this one's got a lot of wiggle room to still go up. And a number of these will probably go well above my estimate on it. And that's just the nature of the beast when it comes to AFA and CIB. Sometimes they go for lower, sometimes they don't. But in general, they do tend to attract everyone, including people from outside of the U.S., because they know that they're a trusted seller and that they're going to get their item. And so you do see a lot of nuclear bids with CIB items. So just keep that in mind. If you see one of these that I mentioned or that I didn't mention, and you have to have it in your collection, you can take my bid or my estimate for the fair market value and probably add 20%. I'm just being honest with you. That's kind of the nature of the game when it comes to CIB items. But my bid on this one would be a max of about $450 to $500, somewhere in that ballpark. The AT-AT driver in an AFA 85 on the Tri logo, there was one that sold recently for very, very high numbers. The current bid on this one's $410. I probably would not go higher personally than like $650 to $700. Do I think it's going to go higher than that for an unpunched AFA 85? I do. I think it's going to go for a lot. It's a straight 85s for the sub scores. It's probably going to, honestly, it's probably going to go above $1,000. Would I pay that? No. But, you know, my number is substantially lower than that. But if you have to have it, you gotta bid high, because it's going to go for a lot of money. The Death Star droid, I've got an AFA 85 that I bought from this same seller in an auction in September. It's an AFA 85 just like this one, and this one's at $780. I paid $1,240. So that's the number to aim for. Could it go less than that? Probably. just given that it's the second one. But I think there was only, there's less than a handful in an AFA 85. I think I forgot the population report on it, but it's not many. It's like 1 of 4 or less. But that's the number that I paid, was $12.40. So if you have to have it, $12.40 was what I paid in September. Here's an AFA 80 Plus Gamorrean Guard. That one's only at $405 right now. I think I paid for my AFA 80 about that same price, $440 or so. So this one's going to go for more than that for sure, given that it's almost at that number already, and it is also a higher grade, 85, 80, 80. It's a little miscut. You can see on the back there that it's a little miscut to the left, but the blister on this one is a lot nicer than mine. Mine, when I got mine in hand and when I was bidding on it too, I really kind of thought it was more like a 75 plus. And it was, it got the AFA 80, but this one is definitely a lot cleaner than mine. And I paid about $440, I think, for mine. So that gives you a rough number that I paid. Tig From in an AFA 75. This one just got listed and ends Monday evening. AFA 75, and we've seen a number of these that have sold here recently. My number on this one is probably around $650 to $700. That's where I think it's going to end up. So beautiful example, clear blister, obviously, since it is made in Mexico, Lily Letty. Next up, I've got some very high grade early 12 backs that are all at auction. First is a 12 back A R2D2 unpunched, no price sticker, AFA 75. That one, the bid on that one's $455. This is a total shot in the dark. I have no idea where it's going to end up, but I think it's going to end up around $1,500, somewhere in that ballpark. It's probably too low, but I'm just giving you my kind of conservative estimates. Here's a 12 back A Darth Vader, AFA 80. The current bid is only $510. That is an absolute stunner, and I would love to have this in my collection. Now, this one does have a 75 subscore for the blister, so that might keep the price down a little bit. Round numbers, if we're talking round numbers, that's a 12 back A. Round numbers probably $2,300 to $2,500, somewhere in that ballpark. But I think the 75 subscore for the blister is going to keep the price down, hopefully. So maybe you get lucky and you can get it closer to $2,000, but if you have to have it, probably bid up a little bit higher than that. Next up, we've got a 12 back B punched example from Gold Star Tech. And it's an AFA 80 plus, 85, 80, 80 are the subscores. And it is a punched example. And, the blister looks a little weird in the upper left-hand corner. So just factor that in when you're bidding, okay? It's not perfect. That blister looks a little iffy. It looks like it might have a little mold growth underneath the blister. So I think that's going to keep the price down. Now, the current bid's already at $681, which is more than what this one is right now, the 12 back A, which is unpunched and an earlier card back. So it's a little high already, but in all fairness, it doesn't end until Saturday evening at 10:50 Eastern time. I think this one's going to go for $1,200 to $1,400. That's my guess, and watch me be completely wrong, but I do think that the blister blemish there on the left-hand side will keep this one down. And if you can live with that blemish, then that's not a bad looking example. I mean, the blister is still crystal clear. It's an 80 plus grade, but it's got its flaws. Okay, it's not perfect. So just bid accordingly on that one. Also from Gold Star Tech, this one just got listed. This one ends Sunday evening. This is an AFA 85 shelf talker for the Return of the Jedi line of figures. So shelf talker just means that this was placed on the shelves at retail locations, point of sale, and was advertising the new line of figures. And it's just a kind of a little metallic kind of sliding piece that went over top of shelves. So the current bid on that one's only $650. I think comfortably you can go to about $800. Is it going to go above $800? Probably, but that's a pretty comfortable number. It's an AFA 85, so it's probably going to go well above that number, but I'm just telling you my number, what I would bid if I had to have it, or if I wanted to have it. This is an AFA 75, 65 back C Yoda clear blister. 75, 85, 80 are the subscores. A beautiful clear blister. Always tough to find Yodas on a clear blister. AFA 80, this would probably be $1,000 to $1,200. I think it's going to go for somewhere south of that. The current bid's only $9.50. It just got listed this morning as of the making of this video. This one ends Sunday evening at 11:15 p.m. So Eastern time. So what's my number on this one? I would say $800 to $900. Is it going to go for more than that? Most likely. But I mean, I hate to couch my numbers like that. But, you know, when I'm bidding on stuff, unless it's an absolute must-have where I put it in a nuclear bid, I'm giving you the number that I feel very comfortable with, that if I had to sell it in a hurry very shortly after buying it, that I'd feel comfortable about getting most, if not all, of my money back. And that number for this is probably in that $800 range, somewhere in that ballpark. So anyway, I hope that helps. If you like that kind of commentary, price where I expect the prices to end up, let me know in the comments as you're leaving me a like. Thank you as always for watching, and thank you for using the eBay affiliate links if you decide to bid or make an offer or buy it now. Thank you again, and I'll be back soon.